James Cameron has done it again. Hello everybody, my name is Jesse and welcome to my channel. James Cameron's Avatar Fire and Ash is finally out in theaters. This was one of my most anticipated movies of the year, so today I'm going to give you my thoughts on it. And of course, I absolutely loved this movie. I loved both of the previous Avatar movies. Like I said, this was one of my most anticipated films of the year. I went in knowing that I would probably really love it, and I was correct. And I would actually say, at the moment, this might be my favorite Avatar movie. There's a lot of reasons for that. I'll get into it. But I did truly love this film, and if you've seen the other Avatar movies, you know exactly what you're getting into, and this is pretty much more of the same. And it is an Avatar movie. So whether that is a positive or a negative for you will depend on what you thought of the other two films. If you love the Avatar franchise like I do, you will have a blast with this movie. If the other two didn't work for you and you're just not fully sold on the story, the characters, then this movie is not going to be the one that wins you over. As per usual with these movies, it is gorgeous to look at. It is a visual feast. Right from the opening scene, the first second to the last, the visuals are impeccable. James Cameron just knows how to put so much work, so much effort to make this world feel unbelievably real. And it's absolutely incredible. I saw the movie in IMAX 3D, and that is the way to go, absolutely. If you're going to see this movie, I urge you, see it on the biggest screen that you can, see it in 3D. That's what these movies were made for, and it looks insane. James Cameron does something a little bit different with the villains in this movie, and for the very first time, the Na'vi are more the villains rather than the humans. We still have Quaritch and the like divers going after the whale brain fluid from the Way of Water, but in this movie, James Cameron introduces a new tribe of Na'vi, the Ash people, led by Varong, played by Una Chaplin, who is absolutely fantastic in the movie. And so for the first time, it's Na'vi fighting Na'vi, and that adds another layer of conflict that I really, really enjoyed. I'll also get back into that when I talk about my cons, but I loved these people. I thought the introduction of fire was really, really cool, and especially with the visuals, it looked beautiful, and I just really like that James Cameron did that. This movie is very much a part 2 to The Way of Water, and I've seen some people say that it's a little too similar to The Way of Water. It doesn't feel like a different enough story, and therefore, if you didn't like The Way of Water, you're not really going to like this one. As someone that loved The Way of Water, that wasn't a problem for me, but it also very much makes sense. We pick up right where we left off in The Way of Water. There is zero wasted time from the ending of Way of Water to the beginning of this movie. It's pretty much like if you were to stitch them together, it would be one continuous story. And it does make sense because James Cameron has said that 2 and 3 are supposed to be one continuous story. And at one time they were one complete script. But James Cameron realized when he was writing it, there was, as he called it, no breath. There was zero breathing room for the characters. So he decided to split 2 and 3 into 2 separate movies. So when you know that, it does make a lot of sense that these movies feel very similar, and many of the plot threads from The Way of Water they come to a conclusion in this movie. So this film does feel like a satisfying conclusion to these characters. If it turns out that we don't get a 4 and 5, I really hope that we do, but if they don't come, I think having this trilogy, having Fire and Ash be the conclusion to this story is satisfying. The kids get a lot more time to shine in this movie. I really like what they did, especially with Spider and Kiri. They both get a lot more screen time in this film. They're both really great. And there's something specific that happens with Spider that leads to a whole new conflict with the human characters in this film. I've seen some people talk about how it didn't work for them. It worked for me. I liked it. I thought it was very, very interesting. And especially after the ending of this movie, I'm very, very curious to see where James Cameron decides to go if he continues this franchise. I think this is the most emotionally and thematically complex of the trilogy, because it's picking up right where The Way of Water left off. Everyone is still mourning the death of Neteyam. The movie goes into the idea of how everyone grieves in their own way, and you see that with all of the characters. Neytiri, of course, is a mourning mother that is heartbroken and angry and has hatred in her heart. Loak, who has always felt like the outcast, feels very much like it's his fault, and he has a bit of a conflict with Jake, and he just wants to be kind of accepted by his family. And so all of that is very, very interesting and very emotional to see, and it leads to some really great scenes. There's also a bit of a moral dilemma going on surrounding Spider's character that the entire family has to deal with. All of that is done very, very well. If I were to mention a con, I really don't have that much negative to say about this movie. It's one of the few movies this year that I've given a 5 out of 5. It is one of my favorite films of the year. But if I had to pick, if I had to make a pros and cons list, I would say my one sort of big con is I wish they dove way deeper into the Ash people. We get a few lines of backstory from Varong saying how in a time of crisis, Eywa did not help her people, so she feels kind of wronged by her, and she feels, again, angry and feels hate for Eywa. She doesn't have any faith in her at all, almost to the point of not really believing that she exists. And so that's kind of what turns her into the villain in this movie. She's kind of bloodthirsty, and she kind of hates people that have that faith in Eywa and the people that Eywa has helped. I really wish that James Cameron would have dove way deeper into that. Maybe he will in Avatar 4 and 5. But for this movie, I wish we could have gotten a little bit more backstory on that. It wasn't really, that's not a big enough negative for it to take away from the experience or bring my score down, anything like that. But it was something that I noticed that I kind of wanted. But at the end of the day, I absolutely loved every single second of this film. I am so completely in love with these movies and this world. We've spent 9 whole hours in Pandora, and it's still not enough. The movie is 3 hours and 15 minutes long, and I still walked out thinking that's not enough. I want more. This movie could have been 3.5 hours, and I still would have loved every minute of it. I really hope that we get the other sequels. I want to see the other story from James Cameron. I'm sure we will. This movie is going to dominate at the box office. Just like the other Avatar movies, this movie is an experience that is designed to be seen on the biggest screen possible in 3D with as many people as possible. My theater, I saw it opening night on Thursday, and my theater was absolutely packed, like elbow to elbow full, and it was awesome. Everyone, when there was a joke, everyone was laughing together. Everyone was just transported to this world together. And when we all walked out into the theater, you could barely hear yourself think. Everyone was talking about how cool it was and everything like that. And that's awesome to see. And that's the point of the movies, I think. So go see this movie in theaters. See it with friends, family. Those are my thoughts on Avatar Fire and Ash. If you've seen it, let me know what you thought of it down in the comments below. Or if you're going to see it, come back to this video and let's talk about it more in the comments. I have a lot more Avatar and James Cameron related content coming in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. And until then, like this video, subscribe to my channel, and keep watching movies.